This is the Bar Stewards Enquiry.
You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You did the right thing. I know.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I did.
Right?
I'm saying that.
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
And a very warm welcome to the Bar Stewards Enquiry Sunday sermon. My name is Lee Keys of systembet.co.uk, and partnering me as always is John Lang of John Joe's Blogspot. Now, an action-packed edition, and I'd like to give a special welcome to our very new Bar Steward this evening. That's Deborah Keppe, who is joining us now for the flat season ahead. She's got a big passion about racing. And Deborah, tell us what our listeners can expect of you this coming season.
Oh, wow. Well, probably some not very good tips, because that is not my forte. But
it's not ours either.
No, I don't know. I think you both do okay. Just some not very good tips, as I said. But racing's my passion, and I'm quite vocal on Twitter about it. I think that's how John got to know me, and it was through Twitter. And sometimes I can be quite opinionated about things. And
you're proper Bar Steward.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll fit right in.
And so hopefully, I just love, the flat racing and also the breeding side of the industry. It just fascinates me, the pedigrees and things like that. But hopefully, I can bring a kind of a female kind of vibe to the Bar Stewards.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it always helps to have a female opinion, I think, to balance out all the testosterone. So hopefully.
to bring balance to two idiots, basically. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that. You've got a third one.
Yeah.
You've got a third one now. So, hopefully, I've never done anything like this before, and I am quite nervous. Hopefully, I will enjoy it, and hopefully, your listeners will enjoy having me as part of your little team. So yeah.
Great stuff. Well, I'll get straight on with the show. Today, there's sort of some very interesting topics, to say the least. The one we've been asked questions about on social media is obviously the photo going around with Gordon Elliott sat on a stricken horse on his gallops. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. John, have you any take on what you've seen?
Kind of similar to yourself, Lee. I couldn't really believe what I was seeing. Also, I couldn't believe the fact that he didn't just come straight on Twitter and say this is a load of cobblers, which is very, very concerning for me. If he can't go on there and deny that there's anything untoward going on there and it's been photoshopped or something or whatever, I think he's in serious trouble. If it was a load of made up nonsense, it'd have been straight on Twitter and said, look, nothing to worry about here. I mean, legal terms on it. If it's not, wow, he has some big owners, doesn't he, that aren't going to want to be associated with anything like that.
Do you think that? I mean, does Michael O'Leary give a shit? I mean, does he come across as a person that gives a shit?
Will.
Well, yeah.
That's his best horse, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, some of these lads, you're never on solid ground, eh? You know what to make them.
Well, it has come a shock to me, but there's some strange things going off in Gordon's life at the moment. And I mean, I've had some texts sent me prior to this regarding It was allegedly again, but basically he was shagging a stable girl, and that Kate Harrington caught them in his bar. And went absolutely berserk. And there's some really strange stories coming out of there at the moment. And then to follow that up, then 5 days later, he sat on a dead horse on the gallops. There's something very odd about this whole Gordon Elliott situation. He's either having a meltdown in several, but like you say, if it's real, I mean, is it photoshopped? I hope to God it's photoshopped. I mean, for racing's sake, really.
But if it is, why wouldn't you just come out and crush it? Man, you know?
I don't know. Maybe he's not that intelligent. Maybe that's just the stock response. I mean, I'm trying to defend him here and play devil's advocate, but it looks bad when if that were me, first thing you do is literally right. Vehemently deny it. Say any if that's posted, you'll be hearing from my lawyers. Blah blah blah. And there were none of that. What do you think about it, Debs?
Oh well, like you and John, I came across it last night scrolling through Twitter, and yeah, you do a double take really, and then you think I don't think I wanted to see that. It's something I can't unsee, and yeah. I mean, to be honest, at first I didn't realise it was Gordon Elliott, and then I saw a tweet and thought, oh my God, and it was just total disbelief, to be honest. I just think if it is photoshopped, I think, he's got questions to answer for a member of his staff to have taken a picture of a stricken horse on the gallops like that and to have plastered it over social media.
Absolutely.
Whether it's photoshopped or not, he's definitely got some questions to answer. And I just find it, I would give my right arm to work with those beautiful animals and to see people that to me are in a privileged position because they work with them every day, and then to see them treated with such disrespect and like they're just things,
sure.
yeah.
I mean,
it just really upsets me, and I just hope that the authorities in Ireland, they do a thorough investigation and it's not whitewashed, and if it's found to be, an honest portrayal of what happened and not photoshopped, then I think, he shouldn't be training anymore. He should not be allowed anywhere near a horse or any animal, because I just find it despicable, really. But yeah, for the integrity of racing, a sport I love, I do sincerely hope it is photoshopped. Obviously, but then there's still questions to answer.
What surprised me was the BHA getting involved.
Yeah. I just
seemed to be all over it, and then the BHA sending tweets out and saying that they're hoping that this is proven to be photoshopped and everything. Well, they were,
I didn't expect anything from them, to be honest. I didn't think there would be a statement from the BHA because
the last thing that there was in another country that the BHA could have got involved in was the Sheep Moor thing, wasn't it? And they were very quiet. But Leyland, they're all over this.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, to finish up on this, really. I mean, because we've not got full facts yet, but the one thing is for certain, it was a stricken horse on the gallops, and it was Gordon Elliott's gallops. That can't be denied. Like you say, and the thing is, like you say, whoever's wanting to post a stricken horse like that anyway, let's let alone whether Gordon's in the picture or not, acting like a fool. It beggars belief that in its own right, a stricken horse like that shouldn't be, you shouldn't be posting things like that on social media, and I don't know, it all sits very sour with me at the moment. But anyway, we'll move on and quickly go on to the next big news of the week, which I thought was very big news. Kieren, Fallon and Darryll, Holland joining up in a training venture. I was like, what? John, what do you make of this?
Well, I noticed that there is Harrington Court and not Druidge Lodge for doing the training. I'm led to believe they've got about 20 horses up to now, but a trip to the sales with a bulging order book should see the yard full. Now, this has all been very, very quiet, hasn't it? I mean, there's been nothing in the press. You would have thought that pressmen would have had people at the BHA telling them what was going on. Darryll Holland's applied for a licence, blah, blah, blah. There's been nothing in any of the papers. Last we heard from Fallon, I mean, there was the 18-month coke ban, depression, helping out at Godolphin, although what active party played in the kidnapping, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we had Holland arrested in Cyprus trying to buy phones. So, I mean, there's nothing like surfaced about the attempts to set this up. I think because the BHA thought it would just hopefully go where its own accord and they wouldn't have any awkward questions to answer, but when you've got the likes of Dave getting banned for 8 years for not giving phone records, and these two just been green-lighted straight the way through to setting the stable.
John, would you give Darryll Holland a licence?
I'd have to ask some fairly probing questions, I think. You know, I wouldn't just give anybody a licence, just they are.
I mean, here's some of Darryll's roll of honour. In 1995, he was banned from riding in Hong Kong for fraternising with illegal bookmakers. There was the Cyprus mobile phone scandal in 2007, hanging around with a nondescript, using fake banknotes to buy mobile phones with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is just bizarre. Also, Patrick Bianco in Kentucky was returning from a lengthy ban from using cobra venom. And who was the first jockey that he rang up to ride? Darryll Holland. And then back in 2016, he came back here, tried to resurrect his career with Charlie Hills. And, well, I know this for a fact that most of the owners were disgusted by that appointment and refused to have Darryll Holland riding their horses. So then, you know, now then he's had a spell back in America recently, and now he wants to resume a career here, training with, obviously, everyone knows from 2007 with the Fallon case at the Old Bailey with Ballinger Ridge. Doesn't matter that they got off. It doesn't matter one jock they got off. We all know. So I mean, what an absolute duo this is. You may as well have the craze running the show. I mean, it literally is just. I mean, put it this way. I mean, I do this for a living, and there's absolutely no way. Yet another set of connections where you cannot bet them with confidence because you don't know which way they're going to go. You know, it literally is. I don't know. I don't think it's good. Debs, what's your take on Fallon and Holland as a training duo?
Well, I think it's just a match made in heaven, and it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. To be honest, it's going to be interesting watching the horses run and. Yeah, to see how they run them, and I saw Darryll on interviewed on Nick Luck and ATR this morning, and he said that the trainer that he admires most is Mark Johnston. So I think they're going to be hard trained horses anyway.
If that's the case, then they'll be front running around Beverley, John. What do you think?
From the front, yeah.
You know. If he's in front of Mark Johnston.
Possibly held up at Beverley.
Oh yeah, well if it's pink.
And front running at Doncaster.
Yeah, if it's blue or pink, we'll know where they'll be sat.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do think I do think it's an astonishing time for race at the moment. You've got Charles Burns, you've got, there's so many things going off. And then all of a sudden we get this bombshell and it comes from Matt Chapman on ITV, obviously Darryll's former agent. I
don't know how it's avoided the press while all this has been going through. Yeah.
Well, it was strange to hear the announcement on ITV Racing. It's as if like they gave Matt Chapman the exclusive. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that was the reason. But certainly interesting times for punters because, I mean, well, for starters, in a way though, it might be a good thing because let's be right here. All eyes will be on them. I mean, everyone that knows the game and has been around in the game will be watching these like a hawk. And no doubt the BHA will. I mean. The BHA, I know we all know the DAF, but they've got to know surely that, that they're not doing this for the good of the health. There'll be some, I mean, the worrying thing is with Darryll Holland's former connections, etc., Kieren Fallon's connections, I mean, could be Indian bookies, Asian bookies, etc., that keeps away from exchanges. You've got all that. It's an absolute minefield with these two. So, that's my take on it. I don't think it's a good thing. So, I think in the end, they might keep the nose clean to start with and, let's all, toe the line. Let's train a few winners and get in the limelight. And then as soon as the cameras are off them and it'll be right, let's line a few up and, let's tell a few Asian bookies, all this sort of stuff. I mean, I can't have them personally.
I think it would be interesting to see whether they kind of get any established owners, send any horses to them, or is it just going to be a case of, the racing clubs and, the syndicates and things like that, because obviously, with Kieren Fallon and Darryll Holland, they've been in racing a long time. They must have connections. They've ridden for, lots of different owners over the years. And, it would be interesting to see whether any of those actually do send any horses to them. So.
It'd be very interesting that actually to see if there was any, if there was any blue and yellow sides or hill for starters. That would be an interesting one.
I suppose that the sensible thing to do is to just sort of wait and see. But I've cast all these nasty aspersions, but that's basically the game I'm in. I've got to look to back horses and look to make a living, and they'll just make it very difficult. What do you do? It's stick or twist. Is this D-Day, etc., etc. It's just bringing another set of connections that just makes it a complete minefield to have a bet. And as we know, if there's no confidence to have a bet, then levy drops, and interested sport drops because people are just fed up of, being turned over. And these guys have had a career basically of turning people over. Very talented, don't get me wrong. Darryll Holland and Kieren Fallon are tremendous jockeys, or have been tremendous jockeys. And it's just the fact that I think they've both probably got involved with people they shouldn't have, and that's why we're talking about this right now. But certainly one we'll have to keep his eyes on that one.
I think we'll be coming back to that subject.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we will. I mean, the beauty is, it's obviously taking off, and it'll be a talking point, I think, throughout the flat season for most people. The first time that they start, pulling a fast one on anything, then I think people will talk about it more than they would, say, another set of connections that are more under the radar. But anyway.
When do you think they'll have one highlighted in the Jimmy Lindley section on here then?
I'd say it's fair. I'd say it's pretty odds on. I mean, everyone knows if you're training winners, you've got to get them off the right marks, unless you can improve them naturally, or by a bit of medication. Then literally you've got to get them well in. And I, to be honest, I don't know the horse. I don't know what horses they have, and until I can see what they've got, and it's difficult to make assertions. But anyway, interesting. We'll move on, and because I know now that, and this story is fantastic. John has got an amazing story for you this week, and we have saved it back a bit because I really really like this. And John, it's something to do with Lester Piggott and Geoff Wragg. Am I right?
Yeah, it's from back in the day when I was doing a little bit of private handicapping for Geoffrey. Lovely fella. I mean, probably the nicest man I've ever met in racing, actually. Proper looked after me. And it was the Kieren meeting. And what was the Geoffrey Barling maiden? It was a 7 furlong maiden for 3-year-old fillies. And I think Lester was down to ride one for him. From the family of horse the Oppenheimers had called Dancing Rocks. And I thought that's interesting, you know, so I thought I'd make it my business to have a word with Geoffrey before the race, see if he thinks anything of it. Anyway, I caught him and I said, what about it? Oh, no, he said, you haven't shown much at all. I said, well, you got Lester. Oh, he said he rang up for the ride. He said, I told him she didn't have much, you know, but he said, anyway, he wants to ride. So, right. So anyway, he'd saddled her up and that. He said, oh, come in parade ring, you know, so goes in parade ring and Piggott comes out, you know, I mean, never said much before he gets up, you know, and gets legs up, lands on the back like a snowflake, and he's off, isn't he, you know, so I think there was about 18 runners in this, and stalls clang open, he sits there in 16th and decides he likes it there and just stops there, give it maybe one flick with whip and zero response, you know. So, comes back in, you know, and he like gets off and gets saddled off all in one motion, Piggott, you know, because he don't want to hang around talking to you. And Geoffrey said, what do you think? That he's gone, you know.
How's it good, John? No good.
He's gone straight in the waiting room, you know. I said, well, that's that then, you know. So I said, hi. So, whole fortnight later, I seen Geoffrey at Ripon. And he said, oh, he said, do you remember that horse at Train, mate? And I said, yeah. He said, well, Lester rung up. He said, there's a race at Nottingham, we can find that. And he said, so I'll put her in, mate. He said, it's a mile maiden at Nottingham. He said, but he said, I'm having a look at it. He said, there's 4 or 5 turned up there she can't beat. You know, he said, I don't think I'm going to declare. I said, well, are you going to ride her? And he said, oh, yeah. He said, yeah, put her in that, I'll ride her, you know. So anyway, Geoffrey had rung him up and he said, no, Lester, he said, there's no point running her in that. He said, there's 4 or 5 there, she can't beat them, you know. He said, she hasn't even come on for the last run. He said, I want them, don't worry about that. And he said, I'll ride her. And that was some total of it, you know. And Geoffrey said, well, for some reason he was adamant these weren't going to run. So, sure enough, after declaration stage, these 4 or 5 she couldn't beat were all vanished into the ether, weren't they? Lester turns up, rides this, won by about 3 lengths, easing down, gets off, I told you when, gone, you know. And now to this day, nobody knows how we found out whether they were all running or not. You might just run 5 trainers up.
Yeah.
And said, don't run these, you can't win, you know.
So I mean, basically, Lester's lined this up for...
To which he just manipulates his facing, and because everybody took such notice of him.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't make any difference to him, you know. If he wanted to ride one, he could knock 3 dangers out before the declaration time. And just say, I don't run them, you know. If you run it at so-and-so, I'll ride it for you. It might win that, it won't win this.
I mean, the way I see it is that Lester there has basically manipulated Geoff Wragg. He's probably giving it a quiet one on debut, and he's probably half liked it. He's probably got a feel for it and thought this will be half all right race. And then, like you say, he's probably done ring round, told everybody to scratch in favour of this one, and then it's remarkable, isn't it? Absolutely. I mean. This is what a fabulous game. I mean, and obviously with the respect Leicester had, you'd believe that would be the case if he's telling trainers, "Oh, don't run against this,"
Yeah. I mean, how the hell he got afraid up for thinking that could win anything when he just sat 16th and stayed there in that first ride, because I mean, he's got great first time at 20 lengths.
Were you fairly shocked then when it managed to win?
Well, it hadn't shown out at all before that, and it didn't really look as though it had come on an awful lot.
Yeah.
To be honest, but I mean, pissed up.
What would I mean, like going back to Geoff Wragg, John, obviously an amazing trainer of his time.
Yeah.
Did he ready them first time normally, or was it?
No, they couldn't be ready stuffy, real stuffy.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a called Red Lord that won the Dante. I mean, he hardly trained it at toe. And it was probably still full of improvement. It has itself at Epsom, because it's still full of improvement. Really, a big tall horse it was,
Yeah.
And wasn't ideal for it. But a lot of them Mollers ones, he brought them along right steady. Fillies as well, Rebecca Sharp, the Oppenheimer ones,
Yeah.
Probably took his time with them, and let them find their shape.
Yeah. When Piggott rode that horse then at Nottingham when he won, obviously Geoff didn't particularly fancy it. Did he go handy on it, or what? Did he get an easy lead? Can you remember?
He sat about fourth, I think. Just eased to the front toe out and just kept looking over both shoulders.
It's absolutely amazing. It's just John, by the way, has got so many stories that because I mean I've had requests. Basically, listeners have said, can we get some of John's stories? Because and believe me, there are some absolute belters to come. Some that have made me some belly laugh, some that just questioned the belief of them. But yeah, it's top class, and so plenty to come. Right. Well, I'll end today's show with we do a Jimmy Lindley lovely pair of hands. So Deborah, this flat season, if anything you see and you think that's been given a quiet one, you can mention some.
I shall. I should be watching like a hawk. So yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good little column this, because we sort of mention them, and it's good for people to put in the trackers. And I have got one for listeners this week. It's Over the Jumps. Ran on the Wednesday the 24th. Trained by Ben Pauling, a horse called Get Prepared. They paid 60,000 after his point win. It was not at all knocked about at any stage. And why I think that's remarkable is because the pilot is David Bass. And David Bass is a very, very strong jockey, but except he must have had a bit of COVID that afternoon, because it was absolutely dead on it. And I can see that they're bringing on this fitness-wise. It's got one more run for a mark, so I wouldn't back it next time, because obviously it's the third run will be probably the worst one, because they won't want any more than what they've got. And I do believe if they get less than 105 with Get Prepared, that it will make an absolute mockery of that mark when the handbrake's off. So that's one for your trackers. Get Prepared, Ben Pauling. John, did you have anything this week of any note, just out of interest?
I didn't find one, but we have got a runner on Wednesday, Eltham Palace, sorry.
Oh yeah, the old Liam, the Liam Canary horse, yeah.
Yeah. It's in the 750 at Kempton. Mile and a half should suit it. We'll get a few quid out of it.
Good stuff. Well, like you said, let's hope that will Kieren be on, do you think?
Well, it's only off 65, so I can't say one would be any lower.
Right. Okay, so it's one of our track horses there that John's mentioned running on Wednesday. It's been a great show. It's Deborah's first show, and Deborah will be with us throughout the flat season. So
I just hope I haven't lost you any listeners. That's all.
No,
that's all I'm worried about.
Absolutely not. You'll have put numbers on, I think, because me and Johnny.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll be getting trolled and everything, I think.
Well, so it looks good for this season. Following the Bar Stewards on Sundays, that's a Sunday sermon, and the Friday show, which is the weekend tips show. And so hopefully, with Cheltenham round the corner as well, we'll be actually looking at some Cheltenham races next weekend. So hopefully we can steer you on the right track there. It's been a nice show with Deborah and John, and I shall see you all next week. Bye for now.